If you can kind of envision the old Venn diagrams that we all studied at the academies or at schools, if you got mindfulness in this circle, that mindfulness is a way of being. Mindfulness is nothing more than being focused on the here and now, being intentionally aware of the here and now, not worrying about something that you screwed up yesterday, not worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow, but really paying attention to what is happening in the here and now, the emotions that you're experiencing, the physical sensations that you're experiencing here and now. Meditation, on the other hand, in this circle on the Venn diagram, that's where you very intentionally set aside some time to practice. So mindfulness is a way of being, meditation is a practice. There's many types of meditation. Mindfulness meditation is specifically what I teach and practice, and that's kind of the overlap between the mindfulness circle in the Venn diagram and the meditation circle in the Venn diagram. That's where those two come together. As far as why it works, the science behind it is our brains. Our brains have not evolved as quickly as society has, and our brains essentially are very similar to our cavemen and women ancestors in that we still have a fight or flight or freeze mechanism that is controlled by the amygdala, which is a very small part of our brain. It's almost almond-sized part of our brain, and that controls whether we fight, flight, or freeze. That's our reaction part of our brain, our reptilian part of our brain, also known as the sympathetic nervous system. So that's what we get when we used to go out with our clubs as cavemen and women to get food. If there was a saber-toothed tiger around the corner, we could react to that, run away or fight. Most likely run away. But anyway, that was our natural survival mechanism. In this day and age, what we get is we get notifications on our phone. We get hundreds of emails. We get a tasker from our boss saying, "Hey, I need this by Friday," and it's Thursday, and we take those as threats. So we're constantly living in this red zone. If you kind of envision a car, which I can envision very well because I'm sitting in mine, but if you think about, when the race car goes into the red zone, if you're constantly in the red, that engine is going to explode. Well, much like that, we're constantly in the red with all our notifications, with all these perceived threats. We end up burning out. We end up getting stressed. We end up getting anxious. We end up not sleeping well, which is just this downward spiral. Well, what meditation does and what mindfulness does, to the two complement one another, is as you meditate and as you notice your mind has wandered off, because that's a natural thing to happen. So many people tell me that they can't meditate because their mind wanders all over the place. Well, that's a natural thing. But what you do when you meditate is you notice that it has wandered off and you bring it back to the anchor. You bring it back to the breath. You bring it back to a body scan. You bring it back to some mantra, depending on what type of meditation you're doing. But coming
And
back
that's the rep.
That's the reps. Exactly.
That's the rep.
Exactly. Have you listened to this before? That's exactly right.
No.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where you're getting your exercise. Yeah, that's where you're literally rewiring your brain to respond with the prefrontal cortex rather than reacting with the amygdala. So you're responding prefrontal cortex. Prefrontal cortex is the part of your brain responsible for rational thought. It's cognitive thought. So when somebody comes to you with a tasker for tomorrow, you don't fly off the handle, or you don't instantly have a stress response of increased blood pressure, increased heart rate, increased respiratory rate. You take it, you see it, and you respond. You do what you need to do to get that tasker done. You don't react to all your notifications on your phone. You see them as notifications and nothing more. They're not threats. So you don't live in this red zone that so many of us are living in. So that's what mindfulness and meditation is really helping people to do, is to come down out of that red zone and calm their minds, calm their nervous systems, and calm their bodies.